Hi everybody, I'm Carolyn. I'm the children's librarian at Battersea and York Gardens Library. Welcome to another Create a Comic drawing workshop. If you haven't already, make sure to watch Lucinda's writing workshop, which she would have posted on her Facebook page yesterday. I'll of course leave the links to that. And she talked about action and writing action scenes. So today we're going to talk about that, but also just about description in general. So in comic books, most of the descriptive scene setting, physical descriptions of things that you'll be writing down will actually appear in your comic book through drawings and not so much through the words, because most of the words in your comic book are going to be dialogue. So we've already talked a lot about how to take those words that you wrote to describe scenery, characters, things that are happening in different ways. So we started off with, of course, talking about building your character and how to translate what you've written down about your character into a visual representation of them. So watch the characters workshops for more on that. And for setting, we talked about visual world building, and we created a kind of mood board about your setting. So check out the visual world building workshop for that. And then in terms of describing sort of what things generally look like and what's happening, we talked about storyboarding, and we also talked about color and lines. So those are all going to come into play when you are looking to describe things or translate how something would be described in words into a comic book form. So make sure to check out those videos. So today we're going to fill in the gaps a little bit and talk about how to put actual sort of narrative description into your comic book, and then also how to describe kind of like actions and sounds, because we haven't really talked about that yet, and they are kind of a big part of classic comic books. So let's get started. Pow pow! So I thought I'd first talk about different ways of showing action in a comic book, because a comic book is not like a movie where you can literally just show the action. It's a bunch of static images put together, so it can be a bit harder to show movement and action and pace. But I think the shark chase scene that we already drew based on Lucinda's writing actually has some pretty good examples. So if you'll remember from the shark scene, Zaffy dipped her hand into the water, swirled her wrist, and then created sort of a wave or more speed through magic. So you can see here that her hand, her wrist, is not moving because it's a static picture. It looks like it's still, but through these movement lines, I created this sense of a sort of twirl that her hand was doing. And then I literally put the sound in, swish. And you can see the water starting to kind of bubble up around. So that's really how you can show movement, is curves, lines, and just literally putting the word. Whoosh here shows the water becoming a wave. And then zip is, of course, the kind of sound that we'd use to convey that something is moving very fast. And again, motion lines here and sprays of water and motion lines here. And then another whoosh for the waves as she continues off. And then a smaller motion, I'm showing that she's waving her hand. She's not just holding it up. She's waving it through those little motion lines. So motion lines are a great way that you can convey that something is not staying still, even though, of course, on paper, it appears as though it is. So I wanted to go through some examples, and I'm going to refer back to the same 3 comic books that I've talked about before, Lumberjanes, Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur, and New Kid, and they're all available on Overdrive or Libby with your Wandsworth Libraries card, so I will leave links to those as well if you want to read more. In Moon Girl, we looked at the first page, but just after that, there's actually a lot of movement, a great example of Moon Girl on roller skates. And you can see really how she is moving through the placement of her body. She's in kind of an awkward shape that wouldn't really happen if you were standing still. That's really only comes through movement. And also her hair and clothes are really moving in the way they would if you were on roller skates in the real world, but with a slight comic book exaggeration. So we definitely know that she's moving. We can feel the rapid anxiety of her trying to get to school on time. And it also uses those 3 really small, quick frames at the top, which I think also gives a really good sense of motion. So we talked about that in storyboarding, but you can really convey the pace just through using multiple panels to show small motions. And there's also motion lines coming from her roller skates, but they are a kind of like yellowy orange and sort of jagged. So you can kind of sense that she's moving really fast, maybe on a bit of a bumpy surface. This isn't exactly a smooth, elegant motion. And in the first scene of Lumberjanes, a character drops a torch. And I like this one because you can see it looks like almost there's 2 torches. There's one midair and there's one on the ground. But in other scenes, she's only holding 1 torch. So clearly it's just designed to show the movement, the path of movement that the torch takes as it falls. And the illustrator also makes a really good use of the light from the torch to show the light moving. Kind of like when you do see a light move very quickly in the dark. It almost looks like there's a line or streak where it moved. So she uses that to convey motion as well, which is quite clever. And then in New Kid, we have this imagined scene where he's falling through the sky. And that's another good example of the sort of awkward body shape that wouldn't exist if you were just laying down, probably. And also shows his clothes moving. So you get the sense that he is falling. And the sheets of paper around him also convey the sense of movement as they're in this sort of falling shape. So signifying movement through movement lines or the way hair, clothes, objects are drawn, the kind of shape or position they're in, is one way you can convey action. Another way is through showing sound. So like in my comic, I wrote the swish and the whoosh. You can literally just write out what the sound is. But there may be more interesting ways that you want to convey that besides just writing them out. And I actually want to go back to those comic book examples again, because there were also some really good examples of that. So in Lumberjanes, on this same page, you can see there's a few different sound effects. There's a snap and a rustle. And these are in different fonts and in different colors to really convey the mood of the sound. A snap is really sort of sharp, short, quick. It's red and it's jagged. A rustle is a bit quieter. It's sort of greeny blue and more a bit more bubbly. You can sense it's like a whoosh, like a light but kind of eerie sound nonetheless. And then on the next page, there's the big wolf howl, which is big and jagged. It's a really grating, huge noise that you would definitely not miss. And also on the first page, there's a very small noise. There's a little tick of the torch dropping on the ground. So you don't only need to highlight sounds that are really important to the story. The sense of the torch dropping is really enhanced by that little tick noise that you almost don't really notice, but it does give a certain realism to it and help you imagine the sort of snap, tick, rustle that builds tension in that scene. And then on this same page of Moon Girl, there's a lot of noise. I really like how the traffic is conveyed. I think the long panel really gives a sense of sort of being crowded in this busy space with lots of noise, and all the different car noises, they're kind of different colors, different fonts to show this real cacophony of noise, and they're all sort of overlapping each other physically as well, which I think really conveys the sensation of hearing a bunch of different traffic noises at once. And it's a bit stressful, it feels a bit busy. You get the sense of her anxiously on her way to school, for sure. And of course, there are more classic traditional ways that you can convey movement. There's the pow, kapow, bang, snap, boom. All these things are called onomatopoeia, and that is a word that is the sound itself. Crunch is the sound that a crunch makes. Snap is the sound that a snap makes. Boom is the sound that a boom makes. So you can use all sorts of those things. You can use starbursts, you can use clouds. And what I do suggest is that you can also use these panels, or maybe make slightly smaller ones, to figure out where you want to place these noises and the shape that you want them into. So you could incorporate that into your storyboarding as well. And lastly, another way you can convey action description, or any description at all, is through just writing it down. If it's the kind of thing that you can't really convey in a picture, or it's scene setting, it's something that happened off the panel, in between time, way in the past. Such and such a person was born on May 15th, 1982. Is that someone's birthday? Happy birthday, if it is. Stuff like that, you can just literally write out. Usually they are in little sort of rectangular boxes overlapping the panels. So this is used a lot in New Kid to show what the narrator is thinking, to describe the sort of general sense of things that are happening that is harder to show through panels, or general thoughts like, I wished I was Superman. So that's on this first page. It's all narration. That's the only words that we see on here. And then on the next pages, it really adds to what the character is thinking outside of the conversation that is happening on the page. So that's one example of how description is commonly used. Okay, so that's it for today. That was a shorter workshop, but it's a very important part of comic books, and hopefully the examples today gave you some inspiration for your comic book. Please do share what you've been working on. If you have any questions or your own hints or tips, we'd love to hear them. You can also earn a special library achievement badge for taking part in these workshops, so make sure to learn more about that as well. So thank you for joining me. Again, make sure to watch Lucinda from Balham Libraries writing workshops and all our amazing events that we have online. The adult service has a lot of videos up now too, for you parents out there if you want some book recommendations or some videos about mindfulness. There's lots of stuff up there, so check that out as well. And if you could take 2 minutes to do our customer survey, we really appreciate it. Leave the link to that, and it helps us know what you like, hear suggestions for what you'd like to see, and continue to improve our online services. And the summer reading challenge is coming up. So the Reading Agency is launching their digital summer reading challenge on the 5th of June. We'll have more information about that for you soon, so keep your eyes peeled. And the theme is all about being silly, which I think we'll be pretty good at. All right, so we will see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Good luck if you're going back to school, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.